What is going on, everybody? Depraved Slasher here, and we are back with another music reaction. I'm Depraved.
I'm HELLCAT.
And together we are
Hella Depraved.
and super excited.
Yep.
Continuing down the crook path of Flag, which has been an outstanding EP so far.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The last song almost made me cry. Very emotional.
Very close. Very close. Definitely got us in our feels.
Yes.
Hardcore. Yeah.
And somebody had asked in the comments why we don't do 2 tracks a day from an album. And it's because we only record 3 reactions a day. She gets a pick, I get a pick, and usually I pick something from somebody that dropped something the day of the recording.
Right.
And then the third one is for whichever album we're covering. So
at the time.
That is why we don't do 2.
Plus, we're doing a 4th recording that is our build-up for our weekend drops so that we can live stream on our weekends. Yeah.
Yes. So, that is to answer your question.
Yes.
Super excited for this. This is called Teenaged Killer. And then it says 1 John 1:9.
Right.
I don't know what 1 John 1:9 is, so I actually intended to look this up
beforehand
okay. And never got around to it.
I don't know that verse off the top
so let's
of my
go
head.
ahead and do that real quick.
1 John 1:9.
1 John 1:9 says, if we confess our sins, he is
faithful and just, and will forgive us our sins and purify us from all unrighteousness.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So, song about forgiveness, maybe?
Repent and you will be forgiven?
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Again, the title of the track being Teenage Killer, because he got us in our feels with yesterday's track, I'm wondering. I mean, he's great at the storytelling that leads up to the emotional draw.
Right.
So it sounds kind of heavy. We will see. Still here for it. See. Totally here for it, but...
and for those of you that don't know, we love our COB peoples.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So yeah, as a matter of fact, so after we cover this album, she gets her album. I don't know what she's picked yet. I don't think she knows what she's picked yet.
He would be correct.
And then afterwards, we will be covering the Shoe Gang.
We're
EP.
doing the family business? Or the Shoe Gang. Okay, the Shoe Gang.
There's not a family business EP.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Shoe Gang. Unless somebody else drops something like Shoe Gang, drops another one, or Family Business comes out, or something along those lines. I know Earthquake's got one in the works, which I would like to cover once he drops it.
Right. Okay. Cool.
But yeah, so, things to look out for. Anyways. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to react to this if you guys have already heard it. If you've not heard it, please click the link in the description below. Hop on over, watch the video, leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment. Let Crook know we sent you, and then come on back. And we say that because we were more of a breakdown channel. We actually ended up not pausing much last time because we were
so impactful,
so caught up in the song.
Yeah.
But we do tend.
It depends on the double entendres. It depends on what's going on. But yeah,
right. We do tend to pause more often than others. So be ready for that.
Does tend to throw in a bunch of bars.
Yeah.
That we pause to break down. So there is that.
So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna slash it up and break it down. This is King Crooked with Teenaged Killer, 1 John 1:9.
Nice.
Let's get it. Let me make sure I'm on the
play and not
thing and not the fall. Okay, now let's get it.
I saw the clip of my homeboy. I saw the clip of my homeboy get killed by the police. He was playing with a toy gun. It made me want to go get a real one. I can't let the cops kill me. I start shooting that shit, you know? I should be at home playing Fortnite. Instead, I'm on the corner, cracking open the Coors Light. Tell the ops it's on site. Mom shot.
This is going to be another hard hitter.
Yeah, but the way Crooks altered his voice
is great. To make him sound more like a 14 or 15-year-old teenager.
Right.
Again, his storytelling. Like, he goes that extra mile.
It's definitely a carryover from
yeah.
the last one.
Yeah.
So.
But he goes the extra mile to even distort his voice to sound like someone that was there and witnessed. Right. It's just, yeah. And the playing Fortnite to standing on the corner, cracking open a Coors Light. The dichotomy between what kids should be doing and what they end up doing.
Right.
Yeah.
That shit, you know? I should be at home playing Fortnite. Instead, I'm on the corner, cracking open a Coors Light. Tell the ops it's on site. Mom shot dope when she was pregnant with me, so the doctor said I wasn't born right. I feel fine though. Fuck with me and my 9 go. I'm handy with the steel. Put you to sleep with my eyes closed. Her first kiss, shit, I got a side hoe.
That's one of those bars that took a minute.
The
put you to sleep
with my eyes closed.
My eyes closed, because
yeah, you close your eyes when you sleep, and then
it's fire.
But yeah, crack baby, but I'm fine. Piss me off on my 9 go. Yeah.
Still put you to sleep with my eyes closed. Her first kiss, shit, I got a side hoe. Creeper through the side door, homie, you know the vibes, bro. My big brother said being black is a death sentence. He read a lot, ain't been the same since he left prison. But he still said tripping, rag to the left crippin', selling dope, talking in codes about his next shipment. He tried to go straight when he was fresh out. They wasn't hiring ex-cons, it made him stress out. Now he trapped at that red house like fuck the government. The fiends loving it, wearing their oven mitt, pulling that bread out. Wonder why my
only job that you can get is basically in the back as a fast food server type deal. And that is 100% true. I don't understand. So many jobs, you see the applications and they're like, do you have any felonies? And they will not hire a convict. Doesn't matter what they were convicted of. It doesn't matter if it was justified or not. I mean, obviously the employer doesn't care. But if it's on your record anywhere, they won't hire you. And then it's like, well, what am I supposed to do to not only support myself and feed myself, but the potential family? And so how does that not put them straight back on the track to be re-institutionalized? I mean, it is the concept of the whole prison system corporation.
Right. And like something else, I love that people have the chance to get like college degrees in prison.
Right.
But when you get out, what good's it do?
What good? Well, okay, so we are so... I'm not going to say overeducated, but there has been such a push to have your education that, like, jobs at this point don't care. They just, you know, I mean, it's one of those things. They expect you to have it. If you don't have it, it's a problem. But there are people with master's degrees that are working at Subway. You know, it's just like, it no longer holds the weight that it used to. It's just an expected thing. And so even getting a degree without a felony conviction,
right,
you may be working at McDonald's because that's the only jobs available. But having that on your record, it's almost a no-go everywhere. Does not matter what type of job it is.
I think one of the things that I'm excited for, especially now listening to Crook, is just the difference of mind state and place in my life than I was 20 years ago. And don't get me wrong, I listened to Crook 20 years ago too.
Right.
Back when he was Crooked Eye. But the me 20 years ago was the me that was like, I don't want to work with felons.
Right.
I don't want people that's been to prison working next to me. And it wasn't a race thing. Right. I didn't care if it was black, white, Hispanic, whoever was working next to me.
It was just they're the bad guy.
That's how it I looked at drug dealers. If you sold drugs, you were the bad guy to me.
Right.
You were the one that's out destroying people.
That's how it was, yeah.
And I still feel like there's a part of me that still lingers in there, but there's more understanding.
Right.
As well. Like, they have to do what they have to do to survive. If They're not
Right.
given opportunities, the same opportunities those of us.
I have been in the gray.
It's one of the reasons I don't like watching the narco shows with you, because I'm
Right.
so torn. Because on one hand, I'm like, I really hate these people for what they're doing to other people
Right.
for selling drugs. But on
Guys,
the same...
I watch the actual documentaries, not the whatever they're the actual narco shows that are
Right.
dramatized. Like I watch the actual. I watch them, because I'm interested. Like
Right.
I'm interested in a variety of subjects, but it's very interesting to me, the whole chain, the whole process, the gangs that are involved, it's just the whole thing. Um, but I've always had that gray mentality. For me, it has always depended on what the felony was for.
Right.
Always.
I mean, that is definitely a big...
Always. The people that harm other people because they're mostly being sexually selfish is where I have a huge problem. Huge problem. Right. Domestic violence, that kind of thing, I do have a problem with. Like, I'll understand if, like, it's a spat and you have, like, a restraining order. But if it's, like, you knock down, drag out, fight, and you went to jail over it and were actually in jail because of it, that's assault. And therefore, I'm kind of like, I'm a little wary of you. Obviously, right. You got a temper on you. But yeah, when it comes to drugs, I guess I always had friends that were in that area, and while I never condoned it, and I didn't do drugs, I didn't sell, I always, from like 12, 13, had friends that were doing that, and they always had such personal justification for it. And again, I'm not saying that I condoned it, but it was like at that point that I was like, I can see how you justified this. I legit can see how you justified this. I don't agree with you. I don't think it's right. Correct, but I can see where you're coming from. So yeah, I've never been... I loved Crooked Eye. And I got it even then. Like this kind of concept and it's always bothered me. And it's not bothered me because they're convicts or whatever, but like you heard me talk about the prison institution and the recycling that they do in order to get money, to get, warm bodies in there to do work for them, to, pay their bills and shit like that. That's what bugs me. Like, I am so bothered that we don't have some laws in place to help hire. I mean, there are a few, but not nearly what we need, right, to hire felons, especially if it's not a what is the word I'm looking for? Violent crime. If it's drug dealing, something like that, which does harm others, I agree with you. But it's not a violent crime. They didn't actually physically hurt someone. Like, I just think that all their opportunities are shot in one go. Right. And then we're recreating the problem that got them incarcerated in the first place, and that is not their problem. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they legit tried. A lot of them legit tried, but there is so much draw back to being able to support your fucking family. Right. That they go back in the game, and then what are you gonna do? Like I said,
it's one of those things I fully understand. That's why it's always such an internal struggle with me. Right. Because I've always been the type, again, when I was a teenager and my friends started doing drugs, we're talking about close friends. Right. They weren't friends anymore. Right. And that was my choice. I was like, I don't want that around me. Right. I don't care how close we were. Like, if this is the path you choose to take, right, I'm choosing to walk away. So for me, it's hard to understand why it's hard for people to do that. Right. Because it was so easy for me.
For me, it was...
Because I guess I don't know. And see, that's where I struggle with this, because, like, I don't want to sound holier than thou, but I was on such a high moral ground.
Yeah, that was your personal stance at the point.
There was no and ifs or buts.
Yeah, at that point in your life, that was your stance. And again,
and again, as I've gotten older, I've tried, and I've actually become more understanding.
Right.
On more than just, the drug situation or things
Just
like
everything.
this. Just in life.
Just opened your mind, expanded, become more tolerant, more empathetic. Yeah. And honestly, that's how we're supposed to progress in life. And you can't necessarily fault your rationalizations in the way that you were thinking as a teenager, because so much of it is what the adults around you at that point are telling you, whether it's your school system, your church, your parents, whatever, because you're still living under adult supervision.
Right.
But it's once you leave the nest and start looking around and start looking into things and researching and reading and talking to people, that's when you either stagnate or you grow. And if you're growing, that's the path that you should be on. You should be constantly. My thing was more, it depended on the friend and it depended on the drug. And I never fell into the peer pressure trap. Right. And again, those particular friends that I kept around me that did do drugs, knew not to pressure me.
Right.
They had all at one point asked me. I had told them, no, I don't do that. And then it was a non-issue. If there was people that were trying to push me into it, they were the people that I was like, and we can't be friends. I'm sorry. Right. But a lot of times I learned from the people that chose to do drugs. And it was, again, it was expanding my mind, empathy. It was a place that I will never go to. And therefore, I was learning something from them that I will never experience. It's just different. But again, it depended on the friend. It depended on the drug. And I honestly don't have any friends from back then anyway.
Right.
Like, that have stuck around or whatever. But that happens. We all grow and we all go different paths. And it was nothing having to do with the drugs, though.
Right.
At least for most of them.
But no, yeah, like I said, I've become far more understanding than I was.
Right.
And that's why I truly appreciate, again, like Crook's music.
More fully
more
now.
So now.
Yeah.
And that's hip hop in general. I appreciate hip hop music more now.
I've always liked
great.
It sounded
cool.
great back then, and you were like, I'm bumping this.
Fuck
this
the
is
police.
Great. But like, now you're like, oh,
but
I
now
actually
it's more
get
of
it.
an understanding.
Right.
And yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Crook, you make us think.
Right.
It's a good thing.
The fiends loving it, wearing their oven mitt, pulling that bread out. Wonder why am I a teenage killer? Seeing death in the jacks made the PJs realer. Crazy movies about the hood, nigga, we way iller. Wonder if God forgives teenage killers. In baseball, you get the Cy Young for great pitching. In the hood, you get to die young for weight pitching. I'm only.
Ooh. Just because you might not know, the Cy Young Award is the award that goes out to the best pitcher of the year in baseball.
I did not know what it was called.
So, he said, in baseball, you get the Cy Young for great pitching.
Yeah.
And in the hood, you get to die young for great pitching.
Right. I caught the second part of it, and I also understood that it was a baseball reference in terms of trophy award, but I didn't know that was the name.
Right.
Die young for great pitching. In the hood, you get to die young for weight pitching. I'm only 13, my life is in the 8th inning. I had a dream I was walking through Hell's Gates grinning like...
He's already in the 8th inning.
Which there's 8 innings in baseball.
I know, but he said he was, 14? And he's already, at death's door. He's there. I mean, unless they go into tons of overtime shit, which is bullshit. Because you already sit for forever, in my opinion. If you're not playing, I don't find it that interesting. Because I used to play softball, and it was much more interesting on the field.
So baseball for me is a very boring sport to watch. I can understand why people watch it. It's just not my thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I understand, the joy of playing it. And therefore, I do understand people that watch it, but it's very boring for me to watch.
The only way I can watch is live.
Well, I mean, like, I've been to some games, and I will legit sit there for the entire,
Right.
you know, even if they do go into an extra inning. But part of that is the vibe of the crowd and, you know, the hot dogs.
Get some acid reflux. Not comfortable.
My life is in the 8th inning. I had a dream I was walking through Hell's Gates grinning like, fuck the devil, he could get it too. Shootouts has been a few. Stabbed a nigga up for his tennis shoes. His homie was running, so fuck it, I shot him, win or lose. Now I'm on the run, cause my baby face is all in the news. The cops kicked in my mama dope. Started unloading on me, 3 to the chest, homie, it's over for me. I'm dying in my mama's arms, she holding me the same way she did the day she gave birth to me. I'm lying like, mama, that ain't hurt to me. She crying as I start thinking how much was my life worth to me. I'm certainly on some reflection, thinking damn, I should have took my life in a different direction. But I buried my friend when the cops killed him, and I buried my uncle when the ops killed him. Now I'm cold-hearted, my soul departing. Mama, see you in heaven, God willing. I'm sorry, I was a teenage killer.
They acting like if you're born black, then you asking for it.
I was a teenage killer.
They acting like if you're born black, then you asking for it.
Okay, this one got me. Just the image of his mom holding him
Right.
the same way as the day he was born. Like, can you just like imagine the devastation on the mom's part?
I could.
And that to me
I've-
is just brutal.
I've had. This is where it sucks to be me. Is I often mentally put myself in places I shouldn't. It's usually when I'm depressed.
Right, well, that's what us empaths like to torture ourselves with.
Right.
I do it in books. Unconsciously, like subconsciously, like I'm reading along and like all of a sudden I am hit with the feels because...
Well, it's
You know.
more than just putting myself in another person's shoes, which I do a lot.
But you're
Especially,
putting
like,
yourself
gaming.
as yourself in a position...
But I've sat around and actually thought to myself, especially when depressed, like, what would I do
If something happened
if
to
happened
one
to
of the
Soph
kids.
or something happened
Yeah.
to Justin?
Yeah.
I try not to think about that because it puts me in a very, very,
Very dark.
very dark
Yeah.
place.
I've done the
But-
same with like my friends or my parents or whatever. Like, it's an empath thing and it's a torture thing. But yeah, this one got me. And of course he's saying he'll see his mom in heaven, God willing, because hopefully when he asks for forgiveness, he'll be able to leave hell because he's walking through hell's gates grinning. It's just, yeah, that image was potent.
Right.
So, another fantastic track. Another really heavy hitter.
And loved the voice modulation
Yeah. Yeah.
to sound like a teenager.
I mean, still a teenager that went through puberty,
Right.
but definitely you could say it was a teenager. So, great job.
Acid reflux sucks so bad. I'm sorry, guys.
Also,
I'm gonna need to take a break after this.
him putting himself in the shoes of, like, his ability to see from that perspective and the storytelling was amazing. So,
Right.
with that being said,
Again, fantastic job, and absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, if you guys like the video, slash that like button, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. Comment down below, what did you think of King Crooked with Teenaged Killer? 1 John 1:19. Also, comment down below if there's anything else that you guys want to see reacted to. Check the description below for all the things.
push our buttons. Come join us on our other social media platforms, mostly Twitter if you want a quicker response.
Oh man, Taco Bell is fighting me back.
You had Taco Bell without me?
Did.
It should be fighting you.
With that being said, we love you guys. Thank you all for watching. Cannot wait to see you depraved people later. Bye.